Hi, my name is Sarah. Welcome to today's sucky video. I thought it would be a fun activity to go through some of my old writing projects and to read them to you. Frankly, most of these I am very embarrassed by, but I figured it would make a funny video. None of these are projects that I am ever going to do anything with ever again because most of them are really terrible and cliche and not good. Let's just get into it. This first piece is actually handwritten. It was from when I was in 2nd grade. The original title was The Children of the Sword. It was then crossed out and I replaced it with the title The Sword's Scabbard. And I did not know how to spell sword or scabbard. The point of view of this character, I've written a note. It says the point of view is the character Amber. Have you ever blown up a building? Well, if you haven't, I'm your girl. Oh my god. Yep, I'm the one that's always accused. I meant to say accused, but I wrote accused. I'm the one that's always accused of stealing or blowing up stuff. What people don't know is that it's not me, it's my brother. Okay, so basically this girl Amber, she's constantly getting accused of blowing up buildings, and in reality it's her brother. Luke, the brother, always gets away with everything. Meanwhile, this is what the news says. 13-year-old Amber Sale has caused some destruction. I wrote drust thin. I think that's supposed to say destruction. Oh, and then now we're moving into a piece of dialogue that has nothing to do with the beginning. Amber, can you come here and help me get this screw into the boat? Asked Dad. Dad, I said, but I came over anyway. It's like, Dad? Fine, I'm coming. Also, my chair is super squeaky and I apologize. Oh, okay, so basically how this is working is I'm including pieces of dialogue and like memories, and then I'm commenting on them to the audience as Amber, who is the main character. So Ams, do anything creative lately? That's the dad talking. See, notice how Dad doesn't say blow stuff up, he says being creative. See, my dad, well, when he was younger and he saw this guy person, and the guy person said that one day he would be taken from his family, so he tries to make us feel as happy as possible. Okay. Wow, that was really dark. I would like to point out 2 things. One, that in 2nd grade I wrote that the father would be taken from his family, so you could see how positive of a child I was. And 2, that I started 2 sentences in a row with see chapter 2. It just ends. It just ends that he's gonna be taken from his family and we're just done. Chapter 2, Luke. So I guess this is from the point of view of the brother. My dad's a mechanic. He rocks with like one of those exclamation points. It's like the triangle and then a little circle. Once he made me and Amber a kite when we were 3. The kite was so hackin' awesome. I think I meant to say heckin' and I wrote hackin', like H-A-K-E-N. The kite was so hackin' awesome. On half there was a boy stuff and on the other half was stars. What does that mean, boy stuff? I don't know if I was saying that stars were girly. That's interesting. I don't know what I meant by boy stuff. It was a summer day. We went outside and flew the kite. Me and Amber made a deal. Each of us would get the kite for 30 seconds. That's a really short period of time. I think I had no concept of time when I was younger. First, it was Amber's turn. She ran the kite so well. Is this the kite runner? Me, not so much luck. As soon as I got out in the air, lightning came out of nowhere and struck the kite. Oh wow, this is getting good. The weird thing was that when we got the kite, the lightning seemed to carve something. Beware. So, in the course of 3 pages and 2 chapters, we've gotten that the girl likes to blow stuff up, but really it's the brother. The dad acknowledges this and doesn't care, and he's a mechanic, so he made them a kite. They flew the kite for 30 seconds each. Lightning struck the kite and carved the word beware into the kite. Wow, this is some great literature. We didn't know what it meant, but we did know one thing. Either God was messing with us or something bad was about to happen. Oh my god! God was messing with us or something bad was about to happen? What does that mean? The thing was, I distinctly remember writing this after I had read Percy Jackson, so I don't remember if I meant like a god was messing with us and I was gonna make it like a Greek mythology thing, which I think is where this goes. Or I meant like God, which is interesting. I don't even know. Chapter 3, Amber's point of view. Alright, so we're moving on from the kite incident. At least I feel like I took the effort to make make them have distinct voices as different characters, because Luke is very like robotic, like my dad is a mechanic, he made us a kite. And then Amber, she starts every sentence with either so or see. Anyway, chapter 3. So this weekend, Dad enrolled us in a new school. It's called Wendy's boarding school. I can tell you right now that I wrote that after I went to Wendy's for like the first time ever. Luke, being so incredibly stupid as he is, thought that we were going to Wendy's, and he would be a little surprised when he finds out not. That sentence made no sense. I think what I was trying to say is Luke is stupid, so he thinks we're going to the restaurant, which I don't know why anyone would confuse going to a school with going to a fast food establishment, but go off, I guess. I like how she hates her brother, like despises him. I would also like to point out I'm an only child, so I don't know anything about having a sibling. Today we took a tour of the school. The first teacher we met was our science teacher. Hello! She said it in an Italian accent. At that moment, I knew we better get good grades or else. So the teacher says hi, and then because the teacher says hi, she's like, I knew we better get good grades. I knew the teacher was out to get me because she spoke with an Italian accent and she said hello to me. What's going on here? Luke asked. I thought we were going to Wendy's. No, Luke, we're not, says Dad. But you said no. I said Wendy boarding school. Yeah, I said. Yeah, I said, you are so big-headed that you thought we were going to Wendy's, I noted. When Dad said Wendy's, you went off screaming, Frosty, Frosty! Frosty, Frosty! This is golden. This is literature. I like that I had some overlapping dialogue there. I think that was a choice, to say the least. To be fair, I was in 2nd grade. This was pretty advanced for 2nd grade. I remember showing this to my teachers and they were like, oh wow, she's gonna be an author. And little did they know that they were wrong. Chapter 4, Luke. I have to admit, I felt kind of dumb. I didn't really go away screaming. Wait, yes I did. What? Moving on. Anyway, next was our first class since wait, what? Oh, science. I just couldn't spell. Hello, class, our teacher said. Good morning, Mrs. Yawler, said our class. I said, we come here in peace. Tee. And then that is the end. I did not continue to write this story. I did write a note to myself, however, on the margin of the page that her name, I think I was testing out names, so I started with Yellen Cooper, which I think was supposed to be like Helen, maybe? And then I said Yawler, and then I said Yawler. So I think what happened was I was just writing down random words and then trying to combine them to come up with a name, which is how I made a lot of the names of my characters. Or I would just pick names of people that I knew. Like my cousin's name is Amber and Luke. Actually, Luke is a name I've always enjoyed. You see a book of me and one of the characters' names is Luke? Don't at me. But also Luke could have been a ripoff of Luke from Percy Jackson. I really don't know. So that was our reading of The Sword Scabbard. I hope you enjoyed that riveting tale. Next we're gonna move on to the old Word documents that I have had saved on my computer. So this next story is a paragraph, and this was the beginning of a book that I had tried to write. I am not able to find the rest of the book, but I do know that it was a book because the title of the document is Book 1. We're just gonna read the opening paragraph because, as we know, the opener is what draws people in. This was the next story that I wrote after The Sword Scabbard. I took the premise of that one and put it into this. I can tell you right now, I wrote this after reading the Kane Chronicles because in this paragraph, the brother and the sister are telling the story to their audience, and then one of them interrupts the other one, which is in the Kane Chronicles, they do the exact same thing. Right. Okay, so we need to tell you this fast because this is bad. This is when she tries to interrupt, so he yells at her. No, duh, Hallie, shut up and let me tell the story. Wait your turn. Ow! I know that was obvious, but it was not stupid, so ow! Stop laughing! So in this narrative, he is trying to tell the audience the story and she's like beating him up, punching him, smacking him, calling him stupid. Wow, I was an author. Anyways, we don't have much time because the Lord of Time is chasing us. 1, I don't know who the Lord of Time is, and 2, I use time twice in the same sentence. Also, Lord of Time is not capitalized. So I think I should tell you about us. In this narrative, the Lord of Time is chasing these two 12-year-old children, and instead of running from the Lord of Time, which is this Chronos? Is this Percy Jackson fanfiction? I think it is. This is like the after of Percy Jackson. You know how after was fan fiction? This is like fan fiction. But like I was in 2nd grade, so it's not dirty, it's just bad. So instead of running from this Lord of Time, they're just gonna tell you a little about themselves now. Have like a little Q&A introduction. You know, here I am, here's me. My name is Jason Claw. Don't tell me it's an awesome name because it always gets me in trouble. My sister's name is Hallie Claw. She's next to me, so I have to be careful how I describe her. She has brown hair and it had 3 red streaks in it. She has hazel eyes that get, when she turns mad, green. Weird, huh? Ow, stop doing that. She's 11, a year younger than me. Her best friend's name is Rip. It's short for Rapunzel. That's the end. Let's just reflect on that for a hot second. So we have Jason Claw and Hallie Claw. Jason is 12, Hallie is 11. She is basically Sadie from the King Chronicles because she has red streaks in her hair. Fun fact, when I was younger, all I wanted to do was like Kool-Aid dye the bottom of my hair red. My hair, if you can't tell, has a lot of natural red in it. If I come close, you can see it. Look. I don't know where it comes from because no one in my family has Irish heritage, none of that. Maybe I'm just adopted and I'm secretly a demigod, who knows. And then Hallie has hazel eyes that turn green when she gets mad, which is something that I used to say about myself, so clearly this is just self-insert fanfiction at this point. That was book 1. That was beautiful. I can tell you from what I remember of how the rest of the story went, they did fight a Hydra at one point, so if I can find that, maybe I will share it with you in another video. Oh my god, I just found this random note from November 4th, 2019 on my computer. It says, a human heart costs $442,000 and I gave you mine for free, you ungrateful ass bitch. I have no idea where that came from. That might have been something that I saw in like a tweet. Next, we're gonna move on to a piece I wrote called Fever Mason. This was sick. I remember coming up with that freaking title. That's actually the main character's name. Her name is Fever Mason. But I remember coming up with that name and I was like, oh my god. Sick. Yes. Fever Mason, bitch, so cool. I believe at this point I was in maybe 4th or 5th grade, so we've aged up a little from the 2nd grade writing. This is probably written around 2012. For context, this was when dystopians were getting really big, so now we're moving into the dystopian genre. We have a little prologue and then it goes into the first couple pages. When I was told to run, I ran. When I was told to stay, I did. I obeyed orders like a soldier. Standing straight and tall while someone was directing me, that's how I was taught. An actor, but not the kind of actor you would expect. Being forced to work for the government. If I don't, it can be punished by death, but not my own. The person I can't live without, Taylor. This is the story of her. I was getting a little better stylistically. I have shorter sentences for impact. You know, those sentences that really punch you. They really come out dramatic. I think it is interesting that she is being forced to work for the government, obeying orders like a soldier, basically doing everything that a soldier does, but apparently she's not a soldier. Apparently she's an actor, but not the kind of actor you'd expect. So I don't know, does that mean she's a spy? I feel like she's a spy. I don't know. We're in Fever's point of view. Jordan was chasing me. How does he run so fast? Even with the knife, he was fast. In this maze of death, innocent people were killed, and innocent people became psychopaths. They didn't care how old you were. They wanted blood, and they got it. Is this the Hunger Games? I don't know. Let's keep going. They wanted blood, and they got it. They always got what they wanted right from the start. A world they told you was safe. This was not a lie. It was safe until there was war. Everything was destroyed. Fire everywhere. Burning. This is their way of punishing us, making us choose our loved ones and kill them. Okay, so this is basically the Hunger Games. Yeah, there was a war, now they have to choose people to kill. Alright, let's just, yep, apparently I was writing fanfiction without realizing it. I had to pick Matthew, my friend. I love Matthew. My family is all dead. They died in the war. My sister, my mother, my dad. Matthew is screaming, run! Run. The word echoed through my head. The word that could mean life or death. It was my choice to run or to fight, but I knew I could not win. So I did as I chose. I ran, but not away. I ran to him. Ooh. I think I took the whole short sentences for dramatic effect thing way too far because not a single sentence in here is a complex sentence or a compound sentence. Every sentence is a simple sentence. There is one subject and one verb, not even. But apparently this kid Jordan is chasing her and her friend Matthew has been injured, I'm assuming. Oh, his arm is stuck under a boulder. Okay, so that is in the next sentence, but he is injured and she's running towards him. I ran, but not away. I ran to him. No! What are you doing? He was shrieking now. I bent down to where his arm was stuck under the boulder, looked him in the eyes and said, if it were me, what would you do? With no question mark. There's no punctuation there. His arm released from under the boulder. I would kill him. I looked up. Jordan was standing there with his knife in his hand, smiling like the maniac he was, cleaning his blade with his shirt. What? He was standing there with his knife in his hand, smiling like the maniac he was, cleaning his blade with his shirt. Doesn't make sense, because if he's standing there with his knife in his hand, how is he cleaning his blade? I think I know what I was going for, it just could have been written a lot better. But also this whole thing could have been written a lot better. As I looked up into the eyes of the man with the knife, I wondered what he must be thinking. Maybe he was thinking about going home. Maybe he was thinking about which one of us to kill first. I stood up and looked him in the eyes. He looked into mine. Ooh. I looked back at Matthew and mouthed the word at him. Run. As I stood to face the killer in front of me, I prayed Matthew had ran. I saw a hint of metal and felt a cold, sharp object jam into my stomach. The blade! Jordan had stabbed me! Whoa! Damn! Okay, that's kind of savage. Whoa! I just killed my protagonist. Maybe she's like a martyr. Maybe that's what I was going for because the book is called Fever Mason. Maybe she gets killed and then it starts like a revolution. But I don't think so. I think oh god. Wow. Alright, this next chapter is from Matthew's point of view. As Fever looked back at me and mouthed a word, run. That doesn't make grammatical sense, but okay. But I couldn't leave her. She was too lovely, too important. She was my love and I was hers. We had been through so much together. We had known each other since we were 4. I was there when she lost her family for the war. When they all died, we were each other's family. I couldn't let her die. I couldn't. In the beginning, God said, let there be light. I said this to her through the years, whenever she was sad or alone. That was before the maze and the field and before she decided to let me live, dying in the process. I don't know if I was trying to be poetic at the end there, but the tea here is that apparently Matthew and apparently Matthew and Fever are lovers, except Fever says that he's her friend, and Matthew is like, she's the love of my life. So I don't know if he just has a crush on her or that I didn't write this well, but that's funny. Also, I don't know why I talked about in the beginning God said let there be light. I think I was trying to be dramatic. Maybe that was gonna be a thing that I referenced in the future, but it really makes no sense. Alright, so from what I understand, that was our second prologue, because first we have this little blurb about her being a soldier for the government, which I still don't understand where that comes into play. And then we have this description of her death. So maybe I was trying to be edgy, where the end of the book is the start of the book. I feel like that's something I would do. And now we move into how they even got into the situation in the first place. The town gathered. When you were born, a name was put into a jar. Not your name, but the name of one of your family members. Then your name was put into someone else's jar. Every year, everyone sat in their homes and waited as their names were called over the speakers that were in the streets. As the names were called, you held your jar. If your name was called, you opened your jar. Whoever's name was in your jar went into the maze with you. That's so freaking confusing. What? So this is like the reaping, but not. If you opened your jar before your name was called, it released a toxic vapor into your house and everyone died? Huh? I don't understand. Alright, so in this version of the Hunger Games reaping, I guess, you get a jar that has a bunch of names in it, and also your name is in one of these jars that someone has. So your jar has random people's names from your town, I'm assuming. And then if your name is called over the loudspeakers, you open your jar, so you're automatically a contestant. You open yours, and then whoever's name you pull out is like your tribute partner, and they go into the maze, which I thought when I said the maze I was being metaphorical, but now I'm thinking that this is like also the Maze Runner, so love that. And then I said if all your family was dead, you're given a list of people and you had to pick from one of them. The list was of your friends. So far we have blown up buildings, punched our siblings because we were running from the Lord of Time who's trying to kill us, and had poison jars that kill everyone in the vicinity, along with a Hunger Games type thing. I was a real pleasant child, I'm sure you can imagine. I was very positive and blithe. On the day of the calling, so I guess the reaping, Beaver was at my house. She had lived with us since her family died. As my brothers, my parents, Beaver, and I all sat in our room as we heard a knock on the door. We went to the door and answered it. There was a man standing outside with our jars. Peter, Matthew, and David Lust, and Fever Mason, he said, handing each of us one of our jars. Thank you, sir, I said. So Matthew's two brothers named Peter and David. Their last name is Lust, which is interesting. I don't think I knew what that word meant. Thank you, sir, I said, as I walked back inside and shut the door behind me. Fever walked back into her room, holding her jar away from her like it was a bomb about to detonate. Here, I said, give it to me, because he's a good boyfriend, so wants to like help her out. She quickly handed me the jar, almost dropping it in the process. I put it down on her bedside table. Hey, it's gonna be alright. I wrapped my arms around her. Then we heard 3 beeps that signalized the gathering. We sat around on our kitchen table. I put Beaver's jar in front of her. 2 beeps. 2 minutes. We sat in silence. 1 beep. Then we heard it. The voice. Hello. If your name is called, please remove the lid from your jar once the light turns red. The names for this year are Deborah Moynihan, Jordan Bates, Linda Cougar, Aubrey Smith, and Fever Mason. Bum bum bum! And that's the end. So that was Fever Mason. That was my Hunger Games fanfiction, apparently. I didn't realize that this was all self-insert fanfiction, but honestly, did I expect better for myself? No. Next, we have a document called Caroline. I believe this is from my freshman year of high school. Here we go. At some point midway into the 15th year of my life, my mother decided it was time for the baby-faced girl with the bright copper hair and freckles all over to stop sitting in front of the television and actually do something. So she bought me a piano. I would like to say that's a pretty good opening sentence. Even though it is a run-on, I fell in love immediately. The way my fingers felt when they touched the keys was heaven. Piano was everything. Also, I didn't know how to play piano at this point. I do now, but not when I was a freshman, so I think that that's funny. Every Tuesday, my mom would drive the 15 miles from our small suburban neighborhood to a tiny music school located underneath the restaurant. Playing the piano was the most important thing in my whole world. I would sit home for hours, never leaving the house, just letting the music take over my body. Eventually, I spent so much time playing the piano that I never hung out with my friends anymore. My parents started to worry that their daughter was becoming a recluse. To fix this problem, they sent me to our church's youth events, aka literal hell. I don't know whose idea it was to hold youth group dances, but it was clearly a bad one. I actually don't know anything about church youth dances, and I'm assuming my inspiration from this was like the pilot episode of Secret Life of the American Teenager, which makes me uncomfortable. My mother took every opportunity to dress me up in a blue gown with fancy shoes and send me off to make friends. The thing is, I really dislike trying to make friends. She's quirky. Our main character, Caroline, she's not like other girls. She doesn't like to make friends. She just likes to sit home and play piano. Well, that's how my mother and I ended up in the car outside our church's recreation center. You should go inside, Caroline. My mother's voice was sweet and gentle. Unfortunately, I wasn't having it. No, thank you, I said. I do not want to socialize. I do not want to try to make friends, and I certainly do not want everyone looking at me. Yeah, because everyone's gonna look at you. Fun fact, if you're ever worried about someone looking at you at like a dance or a party, I can guarantee you no one's looking at you because they're all looking at themselves. My mom sighed. Honey, I get it. You know I do, but maybe you'll make a friend. I gave her a really why are we having this discussion again, it's getting old look. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Wait. Please, Caroline, for me, she pleaded, which is an actual thing my mother used to say to me when I didn't want to socialize. You know that time from like 7th grade to like freshman year of high school where you're just like, if anyone talks to me, I will die. That is the context of when this was written. So it was a real angsty time in my life, as we can see. I sighed. Okay, can you help me out of the car? My mom nodded and pressed a button on the driver's side. The passenger's door slid open. What? Is this like a space car? The passenger door slid open and a ramp unfolded from the interior of the car. Oh! I made sure my dress wouldn't get caught under my chair as I wheeled myself down the ramp. Do you want me to walk you in? I gave her a smile. I'm fine. Good night, Mom. Good night, Caroline. Call me if you need anything. With that, she drove away. Okay, so I would just like to preface before anyone comes at me. I think what I was trying to do here was write a book that was disability representation. I just wanted to see more of that in the media. And then I stopped because I realized that I should not be writing this because I have never been in a wheelchair and I have no personal experience about what it was like to be in a wheelchair. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. I am a little disappointed in myself. I will say I didn't realize how much of this was gonna just be me ripping off books that I liked and writing about it, but I am very amused at the fact that I had no original ideas. Alright, I think I'm gonna end this here because I'm a little shook from that last one, to be honest, and everything else is super long, so I think I'll save those for another video because this video is already hella long anyway. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed going through my really shitty writing with me. This was actually so entertaining for me. I love going back and reading my old writing. I've seen a bunch of people on BookTube do this kind of video, so like don't think this is my original idea. It's totally not. I have a lot more of this kind of stuff, so if you enjoy this, let me know because I will totally make another video. I do have an entire 2 novels. This video has been hella long. I am sweating up a storm. Like, comment, subscribe. So with that, goodbye.